This Charming Man is just a very beautiful, wonderful record. And to be honest, that's one of the odd things. You do expect great bands to write their hit singles by the time of their second album, not for their first time out. So that to me is quite a shock. I always think A&R men, I go, I don't hear the hit single. I always want to shout, they haven't fucking written it yet, you idiot. So to come up with This Charming Man that early in their career is really quite special. And maybe it's the fact that Morrissey and Ma were preparing themselves for this moment for many, many years. In a strange way that I'm sure certainly Stephen wouldn't recognise, New Order played a significant role in the Smiths' success because we never had pluggers. We thought that was beneath us. But Rough Trade had a plugger, a wonderful gentleman, now dead, called Scott Peering. And Scott had taken this strange 12-inch record called Blue Monday to Radio 1. And they'd part trusted him and played it a couple of times. Blue Monday became a big hit, historic record, so they were very fond of Scott. So when Scott turned up with his next record, which was It Was Miserable Now, whatever, the very early Smiths single, Radio 1 was open to Scott's suggestion that they play the Smiths. So in a strange way, and I'm sure they would never admit it, Johnny and Stephen owed something to New Order's success with Blue Monday, and certainly a lot to the great work that Scott Peering did both for them and for us. The first thing about the Smiths that is distinctive is John's guitar playing, and to be able to go back to that John Renbourn, that early 60s guitar picking sort of post-folk style and recreate it for the 80s was very special. And then, which is one of my disappointments about post-Smiths Morrissey, then once you've got these chord changes, it is the genius of a great lead singer, and Morrissey is a great lead singer. And it's often underestimated that the lead singer in a great band, he takes those chord changes, the melodies of the chords, the general melodies, and the lead singer decides where to put each syllable of the words he's written and on what note. And in a sense, the lead singer writes the single note melody line, which we then all remember. And Morrissey, I mean, obviously, my boys are wonderful, Mr. Curtis and Mr. Ryder, but certainly Morrissey is one of those great lead singers, and the way he places the syllables and the notes on top of Johnny's chord changes creates some of the great songs of all time. You know, I have that thing, now we know how Joan of Arc felt, just plays in my brain about once every 3 months and has done for the last 20 years. It's just, that's what they have. And they are, many musicians are arseholes. Certainly Stephen is one of the biggest arseholes in terms of a human being, treating other human beings badly in the world, and yet they are given this godlike gift, and it is godlike and it is wonderful, and it enriches all our lives, and they're great songs, great, great songs. They hadn't come from the electro side, and most significantly, although they're meant to be this very Manchester band, to me they are the opposite of a Manchester band. The glory of Manchester, epitomised in New Order, I suppose, is that this is the one city in the world where dance and rock were not exclusive. I always say, when I first managed a certain ratio, they'd be in the rehearsal room in the afternoon going, nyeh, 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 like some kind of Young Velvet Underground, and then they'd go to Pips and be dancing all night. So dance music is central to Manchester rock and roll. It's central to, I mean, the Happy Mondays create this rolling rhythm that then, you know, the Roses and Primal Scream and everyone copies. So dance was always significant. Dance was no part of the Smiths, which makes them very, in a way, non-Mancunian. Also, there's that thing about Shoot the DJ or something, whatever that song was called. So very strangely anti-Mancunian. What they did was, unlike Oasis, who had to return to the Beatles to reinvent the song, Morrissey and Ma and the Smiths reinvented the song, the simple song with a verse and with chorus and played with 60s style guitar almost, and they made it sound fresh again. That was their achievement.